The first thing I remember is the sound of the spoon hitting the kitchen floor. The second is my husband looking at me like I had just become a stranger. 3 days earlier, Matteo and I had stood beneath warm string lights at a small vineyard outside Santa Barbara, promising each other forever. He cried during his vows. My mother cried harder. Everyone told me I had married a good man. 3 days later, he raised his fist at my face. My name is Camilla Reyes, and if Mateo's punch had landed, the story might have ended very differently. It started with a missing envelope. Our wedding gifts were still scattered around the apartment when I opened the kitchen drawer and realized nearly $1,500 in cash was gone. So was a $500 gift card my aunt had given us. I asked Mateo about it. He didn't answer immediately. That silence scared me more than the money. Finally, he said, I used some of it. For what? My car payment. I stared at him. Without asking me? He laughed, but there was nothing warm about it. It's our money, Camilla. We agreed we'd make big decisions together. His smile disappeared. You're seriously starting this 3 days into our marriage? I should have noticed the warning in his voice. Instead, I tried to calm things down. Mateo, I'm not trying to fight. He stepped closer, then stopped talking. I remember taking one step backward. Then he swung. There was no time to think. My father's voice flashed through my mind. If someone bigger comes at you, don't fight their strength. Use their movement. My father, Raphael, had been a police officer for 26 years. When I was growing up, he taught me basic self-defense. Not because he expected my husband to attack me, but because he always said, you don't get to choose when danger arrives. My hand caught Mateo's wrist. I turned. He lost his balance and crashed into the kitchen cabinets. Silence. For a second, neither of us moved. Then Mateo looked up at me. And the fear on his face wasn't what terrified me. It was the anger. He immediately grabbed his phone. I'm calling the police, he said. I'm telling them you attacked me. My stomach dropped. Within minutes, he was telling the story as if I had become the villain. But Mateo didn't know one thing. Our downstairs neighbor, Lucia Morales, had heard everything. She had heard him shout. She had heard him threaten me. And she'd heard him say something that would later change everything. You're going to regret making me angry. Lucia called the police before I even understood what was happening. When officers arrived, Mateo claimed I had attacked him without warning. But the story began falling apart. There were scratches on his wrist from where I'd stopped the punch. There was damage to the cabinet. And Lucia gave officers a statement describing exactly what she'd heard. Then came the discovery that made my blood run cold. Mateo had done this before. 6 months earlier, another woman had reported him after an argument over money. Different woman, same pattern. Same lies, same sentence. You're making this into a thing. I had married a man who hadn't suddenly changed. I'd simply finally seen him. The restraining order hearing came 2 weeks later. Mateo's attorney tried to paint me as unstable. Then Lucia walked into the courtroom. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't exaggerate. She simply told the truth. The judge denied Mateo's request and granted mine. 11 days after my wedding, I filed for divorce. My father drove 4 hours to see me. He didn't say, I told you so. He just hugged me and whispered, I'm proud you protected yourself. 6 months later, the divorce was final. I kept the wedding ring in a box for exactly 1 year. Then I sold it. Not because I hated Mateo, because I finally understood something. Leaving wasn't failure. Surviving wasn't shame. And the person who promised to protect your heart should never be the person you need protection from. I never expected my marriage to last only 11 days. But sometimes the hardest ending is the beginning of getting your life back.